Have you ever had dream and in a dream you are amongst a bunch of people, let's say a group of people, and these people are in rebellion against God, yet you are a member of them, but they have ungodly behavior, ungodly character? Or perhaps you've had a dream where you're eating food in the dream, but you're eating it from a rebellious person probably who you know it's in rebellion against God. Maybe it's a wife or a husband that's in rebellion against, or a child that's in rebellion against their father or mother. Or maybe you're wearing someone's heels or shoes or sneakers, whatever, in a dream. And you know this person in the physical to be feisty, problematic, dramatic, always chaotic, always just like to fuss and fight. They like problems, they don't stay away from problems. Whatever there's problem, they find themselves in it. Or maybe they're sexually immoral, or they just have characters that's not Christ-like. If you are having such dreams, I want you to keep watching this video because God have a message for you in this video. Heard the saying that says the easy way to catch a cold is to be around somebody that has a cold. That's right. God wants us to be amongst godly character like people. He wants us to copy things that are good, not to copy things that are wrong. So these dreams are indication that you're copying some wrong behavior, and it's actually a rebellion, because when you are around people that are ungodly, the Bible says that we should come out from amongst them, because the more you hang with them, you're going to learn their ways. So these are different things that showing you that God is letting you know you are being influenced by the spirit of rebellion, or is about to be influenced by the spirit of rebellion. Okay, so there was a time when I was having some issues, like I was talking to the Lord. I'm like, God, this man you give me is like he's blah, blah, blah. Like I was just naming things about this man to God, like, God, I can deal with him. Like, I don't know if I want to deal with this. Like, I don't want to be bothered. Just take him away. Just like, Lord, I just want to serve you and just continue my life and just don't be bothered by certain things. Like, it was really getting on my nerves. It was becoming a burden to me. So I was praying to the Lord, and I realized at the time I started avoiding him. Like, I wouldn't, want anything to do with him. Like, I was just giving him distance and all this craziness. Long story short, guys, the Lord started to send me a dream to let me know that I was about to be influenced by the spirit of rebellion. So he sent me multiple dreams, but I'm just going to explain 3 of them. I remember I was in the dream, I was sitting in front of the building of my old church. So as I sat there, I heard the preacher, the prophet at the time, he was preaching a message on leaving your partner, just don't put up with their mess. Don't put up with their foolishness. So I'm listening from the outside. And next thing you know, 2 of the members walked outside of the church and came outside. They saw me. I was trying to hurry up to get up out of there so they don't recognize me. I used to be a member of that church a long time ago, by the way. So now I'm running, trying to get up out of the premises, period. And I heard him says, go and get her, bring her back here. So I'm running and they're fighting, trying to bring me back. I go fighting them and I refuse to go back, but I had my iPhone 12 Pro in my hand and they were trying to grab the phone to hold the phone, and I fight till they didn't get my phone. What the Lord was literally showing me in that dream was telling that I'm going back to the same old ways, because one of the reasons why I left that church in the first place was the fact that most of the members in that church, even though they're married, they and their partners does not do things in oneness. They always have separation. They do things differently, sleep in separate rooms, go to separate churches, do things so separately different. It's like a death in their marriage and so forth. And that was where my mentality was going, and the Lord was literally telling me, hey, don't follow that path, because this is what the spirit of rebellion desires, to bring you back to that place. Because that was literally the message the man was preaching in the dream. And by the way, the prophet of that house also, it's the same thing. Him and his wife live together. They're not divorced, but they barely, they sleep in different rooms. They do things differently. Everybody just doing their own thing, having their own separate ministry. Everybody just going to different churches. Everybody just like doing things differently, as if they're not married, as if they're not one, as if. So it's like that was the spirit that was coming in, and it's all the same thing the Lord was telling me the spirit of rebellion desire to come in to cause death into your relationship. So that was one of the dreams that the Lord showed me. For the fact that it was trying to grab my iPhone, it really wasn't the physical phone that God was talking about. He was literally talking about your discernment, your way you see things, your spiritual eyesight. That's what they were after. They wanted to blind my eyes by all his flaws and things that I didn't like, for me not to be able to honor God and rebel against God, because God was the one who connected us together. And so when I leave him and I do all this extra stuff, then I'm going in rebelling against God. So when we look at the book of 1 Samuel chapter 15, I believe verse 23, the Bible talks about the sin of rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So God does not play with that kind of stuff. Rebellion, when God looks at you, even though you may not be casting spells or killing chickens or doing blood sacrifice or on the altars doing all this mad craziness, but as long as you're in rebellion, God give you something to do. He called you to be a wife, for example, intercessor or something like that. Whatever it is that the Lord called you to do, if you're not pursuing that and you want to get away from that stuff that he called you to do, you are literally in rebellion against God. He sees you as a witch. Literally, when he looks at you, you're no different than the people that cast out spells and kill humans and do all this blood sacrifices. So you're no different from that. And God is very, 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 very serious about this thing. Another dream the Lord sent me was, I'm in the dream, I'm in this house with a few people, and I don't really recognize a lot of faces, but I remember recognizing this one co-worker. And this co-worker, I was wearing this co-worker shoes. So I'm going, I realize I'm entering this room, and as I go there, I realize I got this person's shoes on my feet, this co-workers of my shoes on. And then I heard the Lord says, do not rebel against me. I immediately got on my knees and started crying to the Lord and said, God, forgive me. I had totally forgot this dream. So days after at work, this particular co-worker was instructed by one of the leaders there to do something. And she started just talking a lot of garbage, just rebelliously doing the work, but she was rebelliously doing it and just feisty and like just talking trash. Oh, all this job, blah, 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 just going on and on and on. So with me just listening to the way she's speaking and she just rude towards this leader, without knowing it, I was literally being affected by this without knowing it. So sometime that same very day, the same particular leader had instructed me to do something from my department. So I go to do the work and I'm like not saying nothing really, and I'm working. But then, this was out of my department. He called me to another department to do something to help them. And I'm just there doing the work and I'm looking at the people. They're just doing the job so slow. I'm like, really? I got my own work to do in my department. And here I am helping in this other department. Yeah, I can you have all day to do this. Like I'm thinking this in my head. Like I'm not really saying it, but I'm getting frustrated with the whole thing. Not knowing that I'm being affected by this person's ways, this person's behavior. So when I was done with the job, I walked to the leader. I'm like, listen, I'm done with that and I have to go to my department. I really need to go. So the leader was like, oh, okay, go ahead. But when I went and sat down on my desk, when I sat down on my chair in front of my desk, I remember the Lord saying, that was very rude. That was literally rude. I felt so bad. I walked back to the leader. I was like, listen, man, I really didn't mean to talk to you that way. I want to tell you that I apologize. I mean, I was just a little frustrated, but that still don't give me any means to speak to you that way. So I literally had to go apologize to the leader. But what the Lord was telling me in this dream was, listen here, you are about to follow the footsteps of that person, because what that person is, they rebel against authority. They're very sexually immoral and so forth. So the Lord was letting me know that you're about to be influenced by this person's footsteps. And I do not want to learn that lady way. She's too feisty, so dramatic, all that stuff. And that's literally why the Lord was using her as an example. And I don't want to learn her ways, to be honest with you. But I thank God that he helped me send me one of that dreams. So that we look at the definition of rebellion is a voluntary act. It's something that you voluntarily do, voluntary act, or resisting against an established authority by God. So God put authorities in place, and once you become to go against those authority, you're literally in rebellion against God, and God doesn't like that. Guess what? He's on his authority side. Okay, he's not on your side. When you start to come in rebellion against his will, against his order, against his the way he set things up. I'll go now to another dream that he sent me. All of this was just like, oh Lord, he was literally speaking the same message. So he gave me another dream. In this dream, I'm there and it's like a buffet, and each meal was prepared by a different servant. It's like servants, they was the one prepared the meal and brought the meals to be served. But I remember amongst these people that was serving, there was one particular prophetess that I used to admire earlier when I got saved. Now at the moment, the Lord doesn't want me to listen to her anymore. She's literally went and divorced her husband for no reasons why the Bible says you should do such things. If the man was sexually immoral, or like he's beating on you and doing all this craziness, even though God is not even with divorce, by the way, just to make that clear out there. But she divorced the man, now open the church and then make her entire message about degrading him and talking bad about him, attacking his identity. And the Bible says we do not fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, workers of iniquities, and all these different things. So you're making your message literally about this man just to tarnish his ministry, mess up his reputation, and all these different. What the Lord is literally telling me in this particular dream is that, hey, you're listening, you're being fed. Because the food was literally words that I was listening to, spiritual teachings and stuff that I was listening to. But amongst this teaching, there is a mixture, because I'm also listening to this person that's under the spirit of rebellion that's influencing me, because I ate her food too in a dream. I took some of the food and put it on a plate to go eat it. And the Lord was telling me that you are listening to her teaching. She's under an influence of the spirit of rebellion. And this is the reason why you find yourself becoming rebellious against the person that I sent you. And that's not my order. That's not my order. That's not my order. I command the woman to submit, and I command the man to love. So you rebelling and doing this is because of what you're listening to. You're being influenced by that spirit. I also want to make this very, 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 very clear. Any authority that pushes you to sin against God, or order you or command you to sin against God, you are not to obey that authority. I want to make this very clear. If the authority say go commit abortion, or go support gay and lesbianism, that is against the Bible. God is against homosexuality and all this crazy madness. If any authority tells you for you to support things that is ungodly, you have every right to obey God rather than you obey men. In the scriptures, there are many incidents, even like King Nebuchadnezzar, when he wanted the people to bow down to his image, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they did not bow down, and God supported their decision because it was against the order of God. Only God is to be worshipped and nobody else. So anything that violate the scriptures, violate God, and the authority is pushing you to do that, that is in violation against the name of the Lord, against God, and God will be on your side. So you have every right to stand against whatever it is that will cause you to commit sin. The Bible says if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. So with that being said, come out from amongst them. If you know something's gonna influence you to do something wrong, God does not want you to live in sin, because the wages of sin is death. He doesn't want you to be partakers of sin. He said, come out from amongst them, separate yourself, be ye holy. Don't hang around wrong influences, people that will influence you. The reason why God does not want you to hang around the wrong crowd or be around the wrong places, even if they call themselves Christian or in the church or whatever, is because you're going to eventually learn their ways, and you're going to act upon what you learn, because the Bible says what a man thinketh, so is he. I really hope that this was able to help you. Until next time, I'll see you right here on I Am Raip. God bless you. You have a blessed one.